What is going on, guys? We're back with another video today, and we're doing another experiment. I know, the experiments haven't done that well this year, and some of you guys don't like them, but it's important to note, in my opinion. So maybe this is going to be a little skewed, it's going to be a little weird, but of course, we're going to test, does it matter to have superstar abilities or not? So what we have done is we've taken the Niners, a team that doesn't really have a whole lot of superstars. They have good players that are on the brink, but most of them aren't superstars, so all we had to do is change Kittle, Sherman, and Nick Bosa down to star. So weird to see Sherman and Kittle at star. But we turned them into the stars, so now we will see what their stat line will be like without any abilities, with just normal stats, and most importantly, 0% on the XP sliders. I don't know if you get any XP when you have 0, but we'll find out. I mean, 0% kind of seems like it should be 0, right? Like, let's take a look. Does Jimmy Garoppolo have any? Well, maybe not Jimmy. Let's say Pettis is pretty young. Let's take a look at Pettis. He has 1,000 XP. If we go to mid-season, he shouldn't have a single upgrade, right? That's the main importance, is that we don't want these guys to upgrade because obviously Superstar X Factors are going to upgrade very quickly. So we can't really tell if they did well because of the stats, because of their ratings, or the abilities. That's what we're trying to differentiate. Of course, we see a 5-2 record simming, which is pretty ironic, don't you guys think? Let's take a look. So Pettis has 0. So you don't get any XP on 0%, which is pretty cool. Let's take a look at what the actual record is looking like. More importantly than the record is also the stat line. Of course, Sim is so random. We could easily see I don't know, like a 10-6 here. See a 9-7. 9-7 here, and like a 6-10 on the Superstars, which obviously would make 0 sense. We did not force any wins, so don't go blaming me. I was about to say waterfalls, but that's chasing, so that would make no sense. Jimmy Garoppolo, I'm actually going to take down all these stats because these are very important to know the exact number. 3,700 yards, we're definitely on par for that in our 49ers franchise. Take a look at that if you haven't. Tevin probably could get this, even though we did take him off the starting lineup. I don't know if we've even uploaded a video where he's off the starting or not. Lots of rushing touchdowns, though. Breida and McKinnon, both with a combined, 16? Then you have receiving, which is about 700. 700 with, very little touchdowns, all kind of sharing the job. Trying to type while doing this is interesting. Let's take a look at blocking. I don't think blocking will matter too much, but we'll take those numbers down as well. And then defensively, tackles, I'm not going to really worry about too much. I'm going to look at the sack totals. So we could see here, sacks. Nick Bosa was, once again, as per usual, useless. As, for whatever reason, he always is. Did he even have a single sack? 1.5 sacks. Of course, the abilities could take a different look, so hopefully that's the case at least. We don't want the abilities to mean nothing in Sim other than that. Because, at the end of the day, if the abilities don't matter, we could literally just not even worry about it and go take Superstars and not even care. If someone's a Superstar X Factor, maybe save some money and go for the free agent. Sorry that took so long. I was typing while trying not to waste time, even though I wasted everyone else's time. So ironic. 49ers, we do beat the Giants by 1. Going against the Eagles, beat the Eagles by 6. And then you have the Saints lose to the Saints. So as expected, let's take a look if there's any Pro Bowlers on this roster. Maybe Jimmy Garoppolo. NFC side, no. Fullback, you did get a fullback. Trent Taylor, perhaps, looks to be the #1 wide receiver. I would assume that's Trent Taylor. Tight end, surprisingly, no. Kittle, left guard, you do get the left end as well. You get the, no, you don't. That's not, I'm thinking of something else. Buckner, what else do you have? Quan Alexander. So there's actually a couple of names on the list here. The punter even. This is actually pretty impressive. So the team makes it to the championship game, loses the championship game to the Saints. All very close scores. And then you see the Saints and the Browns face off. The winner of that game is, of course, the Browns. So looking at the regressions, 76 overall. I don't know what kind of regressions we're actually going to see. I'm not going to write every single down. But if you're really interested in this experiment, maybe you'll take the time to look and see what the differences are. You see Quan and D4 did go up in development, which is pretty cool. And I actually kind of want to take a look at what abilities they have, because this could very well, and probably should. That is 80 overall. EA, can we get an update on that one? Superstar, secure tackler. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. Obviously, you have to get all these XP sliders down to 0% as well. Going to take a look at the superstars that we have on this 49ers team. So 77 overall. Thought we were 78, no? Guess not. These are the superstars. Let's take a look at what guys like Tevin Coleman may have. First one free. Ability slots unlock later. Pettis, can we take a look? Because he actually might get that in the future soon. Double me. Not bad. I'll take double me. Kittle obviously already has his superstar X Factor. What about tackle? Like, you don't get anything else. What? I'm pretty sure there's abilities for superstars in there. I don't even know. Sherman already has his ability. I can't really think of... I guess Fred Warner, we may get him to superstar at least. In reinforcement, the game's top defenders excel in all situations. When they enter the zone, this ability increases their chances of defeating run blocks, tackling runners, and disrupting... Wow, that seems insane. Gives you, like, a little bit of everything. D Ford, I highly doubt he'll go up to Superstar X Factor for us. Fearmonger, pretty nice. And then DeForest Buckner's on his way to Star, so one of these abilities could be ours. Strip Specialist, that is very bad, to be honest. Fearmonger's always great for a pass rusher, though. Obviously, we knew that the first team we looked at did extremely well. Like, really well. So for everyone that's saying, why is the team doing so well? This is so unrealistic and all that. Maybe the problem lies that I chose too good of a team. Because you can see here, they just made it to the championship game. And obviously, they're not playing as well as we are. Because, you know, Jimmy Garoppolo's having an amazing season. Even MVP-style one, potentially. And here, we could see with the same exact team, but better players, technically. Because, you know... Surely you would do better with abilities than not with them. They miss the playoffs. So clearly, I mean, just using common sense here, they didn't factor abilities into Sim. They didn't think, oh, hey, maybe you know, a guy with Fearmonger might make it harder that week for the quarterback. I have no idea what the stat lines were, but here we're going to compare them. So, Jimmy Garoppolo, of course, way better here. 300 more yards. Did have about 13 more touchdowns. However, the rushing's got to be way down, and you could see that here. Tevin Coleman, similar yardage, way less touchdowns, 8 less. Breida McKinnon, both way less. Receiving, you do see Marquise Goodwin. I don't know why that freaking name gives me so much troubles. Kittle and all them, you know, a couple of the guys, you know, have a little bit better numbers, but for the most part, other than Goodwin, it's pretty damn similar. You know, all the guys about 700 yards, 5 to 8 touchdowns. Blocking, let's take a look at the comparison. So you see blocking, we have like a 1, a 2, a 6, a 9, and a 13. Very similar, just slightly lower for some people. Defensively now, though, this is where you should really see a big bump. Sack totals are down. This is the one that tells me that the abilities just don't factor in, because... when you actually play against the Superstar X Factors in Madden 20, you know you're playing them. They are insane. They are hard to stop. And they're almost always going to have at least 1 or 2 sacks or just get to you a ton in a game. And you can see here, Nick Bosa, he had a couple more sacks, but 4.5, not a lot at all. DeForest Buckner, you know, he had 9.5 in the first one. Quan Alexander had like 6 in the first one. You know, these numbers are really bad. In the first one, we had a 9.5, 7.5, 6.5, 6, 5, 3, 2.5, 1. And that's nowhere near where it is here. Pick totals, once again, guys with good zone coverage abilities, you know, lockdown abilities. 2, 2, 1, 1, 1. I mean, we had better numbers than that in the other one as well. Here, Robbie Gould, technically worse. 13 for 16 versus 15 for 17. But obviously, I really care too much about that. The only one that really seemed to do better was Jimmy Garoppolo, and that really just came down to running the ball less, probably in the red zone. And, of course, you could tell the team did not make the playoffs. The other team, they made the championship game. So, we know for one, A, Sim is just completely wild and has no, you know, there's no real, like, balance to it. It's just random as hell. And B, superstar / abilities, like X Factors and abilities in general, do not factor into Sims. So, other than the XP you're gaining, there is no difference. So, when you get an X Factor... in Sim, you're doing a rebuild, it literally means not much more than Superstar regular. I don't even know, do X Factors even upgrade that much more than Superstars, or is it literally the same, but you have that extra ability? I'm not even sure, but we now know Superstars and Superstar X Factors, their abilities are irrelevant, and you're just going for the XP in Sim. So, when we have, kind of like a Buccaneers league, we have, Devin White. He's not going to do better in Sim if we have a Sim game. So that's unfortunate. Stuff like that is interesting to test in the game. Obviously, EA probably doesn't expect you to test that. I'm really surprised they're not in the game. You normally will see guys like Mac and them do well, but some of the no-namers, if they get Superstar X Factor, they're just not going to do well. I know their ratings are low still, but the numbers should have still been at least a little bit higher, not worse in 95% of the stats, other than Jimmy Garoppolo. Once again, we debunked that. And then, of course, Goodwin, which technically is debunked. You didn't see better numbers, even though they actually had abilities. So, interesting one. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any ideas like this, let me know in the comment section below. I thought this was a pretty good one. Insightful and, kind of exposing. But we'll see. Maybe they'll integrate that next year. Maybe it's just not a big enough factor to really, X Factor, to actually matter. But anyways, yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you guys come back for next video. But until next video, see ya!